What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Creative Culture. It's your boy Nemo, and we have another great host with us.
What's up, guys? It's Joey once
and
again.
This episode 2 without Aaron. Aaron, I'm gonna say that every time we start, I'm gonna say how many episodes it's been without him. I think we've come to a conclusion about 10, right? That we're not gonna have him.
Yeah, most likely.
So
at least 8.
At least 8, maybe 10.
He might drop in for one of them. I don't know. We'll see. If he's got some time.
So Aaron,
be able to come
we
on
love
the
you.
phone,
We're
but-
praying for you.
Love you,
and,
brother.
We know that you're out there. So, man, this is it's a great. I think today's a great topic.
Yeah.
I was telling you that I came up with a reel, and it was about this topic. But for some reason, I just didn't record it. I didn't feel right recording it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me see why. So I had mentioned this topic to you. So I think we should just jump right into it, right?
Yeah, and I would say before we end up jumping in, it's just this is a topic that we want to kind of explain a little bit, kind of go a little bit further in depth, but at the same time, like we're only saying this because we still are continuing to learn about this topic and apply it to our lives before we can even say, oh yeah, we got everything perfect, and we just want to let you guys know what's going on and exactly how to do it, because there are multiple avenues of exploring this, but we kind of want to go over like a couple of things that the Bible talks about when it comes to exploring this topic right here and wanting to better ourselves in every aspect of our life and our relationship with God.
I really think this is a great topic, especially with just everything that's going on just in life, and not only our personal life, but even in our church, even in our world, if we're being honest, even in, like you said, this is a ministry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a podcast, but it's a ministry as well. So let's dive into it, man. I'm excited. Hold on. We have some drinks. Oh, shoot.
Guys, thank you guys for Nicolas. And,
Shout out to Nick. My boy Nick has given us Prime for the last, 3 episodes.
He's hooking it
This
up
is a
with the
new
ice
one.
pop flavor.
All right, let's sip it real quick before. Let's just try it real quick. Oh, shoot. Oh.
I'm surprised, man.
You know what I just noticed? A match. Well, this is bomb. All right, Logan.
That's good, huh?
Man, Logan.
He's got a couple of the flavors coming out here.
Well,
soon, huh?
this topic is very prime, I think.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
About the prime
So,
time.
I said to you
Thanks,
in a
Nick.
text, don't belittle the little that God has given you.
Yeah.
Don't belittle the little that God has given you. And I think that topic is so great. Basically is just because it's little, don't look past it. Like, live in the little that God has given you at the moment. So what are your thoughts on that?
So when we talk about don't belittle the little, we're essentially talking about being faithful to the little that God's given you so that He can prepare the way and be able to open up bigger opportunities and bigger doors for you in the future. But when you're not faithful in those tiny things right there, there's no way for Him to look at that and see past it and be like, well, how am I supposed to give you bigger things to come, things that I've expected for your potential to be able to reach, and you're not even able to pay attention to the small stuff, And ultimately, we talked about this multiple times with purpose and finding our call and our will in our lives and what God's got to offer in our lives. Essentially, our purpose in life, man. And this deals exactly with that. It's more so of I got to deal with the stuff that God puts in front of me right here, right now, so that I can then be called to bigger and greater things,
Yeah, I think that's so true. I feel like sometimes in life, I'll use this example. When I had, started, I guess, in ministry.
Yeah.
I guess the real thing that I first started in ministry was worship, right?
Okay, yeah.
There was a need for a drummer. You had just recently left. Abraham was transitioning to
that was
guitar.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he was transitioning into guitar.
Yeah.
I knew the basics of drumming, so I stepped into that role, right? Obviously, I grew from there. And this was to me...
You grew a long ways, bro.
To me, it was big, though.
You're a beast.
To me, it was so big.
Yeah.
To me, I thought it was the biggest thing ever. Well, I'm in front of... hold on, I'm here. I'm one of the first things they see. Of course, they see the whole worship team. We're the first things that they see. So for me, it was such a grand thing. But in I guess looking back at it, it was just a little thing of what God was doing. He was just prepping me to be on stage, to not be afraid to be in front of people, But to me back then, I thought it was so big. I didn't think I could control it.
Yeah.
But obviously, I stayed with it. And now 10 plus years, now I still do it, but I do more than just drumming.
Yeah.
You know, but to me, it was so big.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I was freaking out.
Yeah.
My first worship service. I remember my first worship service.
Nervous, huh?
Oh, my heart was pounding. I never saw my hands so sweaty in my life, you know. But to me,
sweaty.
Right? Shout out to Eminem. No, to me, I thought it was big, but in reality, it was just something little that God was just prepping me. Like I always say, like Pastor Anthony told me, preparation time is never a wasted time.
Exactly.
Like God was just prepping me just in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know.
But one thing I like that you said right now, you said to you it was big at that moment. And so how many times right now when God gives us something, right now in our moments that we don't view as big anymore because we kind of almost grown accustomed to things, or we're kind of numb. And that's just right. So you thought of it as big, but other people would have probably looked at that, hey, bro, it's just one service, man. It's something that's small.
It's just a service a Sunday.
But like you thought it was big, and because of that, you probably valued it a little bit more because you were like, man, this is a big deal to me. So even the things that we don't necessarily think that are little now, we need to value them as big. Like this, I don't care what God gave me, what He put in front of me. Yeah. This is a big deal right here, and I'm gonna do my best, 100% effort, and not hold back in anything. So
I think that's so true because in reality, at that moment, I thought it was so big that I guarded it with all my life. Like it was something that, you know, I just to this day I still don't go play secular music because this is a gift that God gave me. I want to cherish it.
Recognizing this from God.
I want to make sure that this is something I do for God and only Him. It's just not for me to show off. It's not for me to be the big bad guy. No, it's literally, I don't care. That's why I don't do drum solos. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's not really meant for me. It's meant for Him. Yeah. And I noticed that when God gave me that what seemed big to me, in reality was just a tiny little thing that He was just prepping me for. Mm-hmm. Because I went from there to rapping. And then thank God I stopped rapping, but I started rapping. And then I went from that to, I remember I started ministering at youth. I started to be one of the youth that was ministering, and God was like, if I can trust you with a little, I will give you much. Yeah. And that's what He was doing. Yeah. Like He was literally prepping me for what's to come.
That's good. And so for me, it was the same way too. Like I started playing drums when I was 12. My Uncle Julio, shout out to my Uncle Julio. Thank you for seeing that passion as a young kid, you know, always being on the front pew and visualizing this drummer who was him up there. And I tell everybody, hey, no excuses on whatever God has in your life. Like there's no excuse on why you can't start right now. It doesn't matter how small, how young, how old, whatever. I tell everybody my first drum set was my lap, you know. But from that point on forward right there, learning how to be disciplined and being consistent and probably even honoring my worship pastors, honoring my pastor. Yeah. I was then able to grow and expand my ministry in that sense. And because of that, it brings me to the place where I'm at right now, where I am a music and tech director, you know, but it started off as something small, but in my eyes were huge, you know, but to everybody else, small. And taking that amount of faith and responsibility that God gave me and then allowing it to blow up. Because then from there, heavily involved in just church all across the board. Yeah, youth, young adults, you know, Royal Rangers at the time, you know.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of stuff, you know, and then which then allowed me to, you know, get into the Word scripturally, you know, praying, reading the Bible, being a little bit more disciplined than an average person would, you know, just because I learned how to love God, and then I learned how to love God through my worship, you know, and so that brought me to this place right here, taking the little and making it big.
It's always it's your perspective on what you get it. Yeah. When your perspective of, oh my God, this is so big, and in reality it's little. Yeah. That's already God showing, okay, He's humble enough to cherish this, guide this, lead this, protect this so much that when I give this guy more, oh my God, he's gonna run with it because I was able to trust him with little. Yeah. I see as my daughter. My daughter, I don't want to say like she's like like my training child, but in reality, I'm learning how to become a father now. So when baby number 2 comes, now I'm able to, okay, I made this mistake with Isla. I don't want to make this mistake with him or her. Yeah. You know, hopefully it's a boy. So with him, you know. So it's like, man, I was able to, and not only that, but I'm able to give it up. See, most of the time, I started with drumming, right? If I would have said, "Oh yeah, this is me," and I would have started doing things for the world, I'll never be in the place that I am today.
No, exactly.
So it's realizing that when you get a gift, when you get something from God that might be little to you, that might be little to others but big to you, when you say, "God, I'm giving this back to you," like I'm in reality, God, I'm giving this all up to you. Okay, I'm playing drums is what I started with in ministry. God, I'm giving this back to you to honor you because you gave me the ability to do this.
Yeah.
When you have that servant heart, when you have that heart to say, God, this is yours, so I'm only going to do this for you.
Exactly.
In reality, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
I was able to do that. My daughter, God, this is your daughter. This is your angel that you allowed me to parent now here on this world. So I'm going to try my very best, and I'm going to do my very best at honoring what you gave me with this little child, right? By teaching her your ways. Making sure that her eyes are always on God. No matter the tough times, when she sees dad in pain, she sees dad on his knees.
Yeah.
When she sees dad crying, she sees dad going to the feet of Jesus.
Amen.
When the tough situation happens, she sees her dad at the end of that bed, either praying or reading his word or listening to worship music, because that's how I can win every battle. It's literally the little things that you do that can lead to so much more.
No, absolutely. And you know what? You brought up a good point, because then your child is seeing these small things, these small examples that to anybody else's eyes is not a big deal. But man, when they see you, at the feet of Jesus, they see you praying. They see that when you're struggling, going through some stuff, first person you're reaching out to is not your wife, is not a friend. It's God. And when they recognize those things, they see how you worship. They see how you play the drums. They see it was me, man. I was just absorbing as a child, and these kids, all they do is absorb, and all they want to do is just retain this information. They're observing their mom, they're observing their dad, and they just want to be able to learn and grow from that. Unintentionally, they're learning from everything. Are you going to be able to demonstrate the example being a good way or an example being a bad way?
It's like, how can I give you another child if you don't know how to parent the first one?
Exactly. And God entrusts us with our kids. He's given them to us as gifts, so it's a huge deal. But also with entrusting us with a lot of stuff, it's anything in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be kids. It could be your wife. Anything that you've been given. Ultimately, nothing on this world is yours in the first place. You got to acknowledge that everything that you have right now is not because of your own doing or your own strength.
No.
It's all because of what God has given you already, and He's entrusted you with, and you got to take responsibility for that. It doesn't matter if you know Jesus or not. This is what God's given you, And so even for the person out there who's kind of question, well, no, I kind of did this on my own. Oh, where are you? And obviously we can have conversations a little bit later if you guys want. But it's more so God's allowing you to have these things right there, whether you follow Him or not. It's still you are in His world. This is His universe. This is His place. He is the supreme ruler of all. One thing I want to mention real quick, and I can't believe we didn't start off with this first, but Luke 16:10, man, this is the verse that we're talking about.
Go ahead.
Here. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with very much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much."
Yeah.
So
I think I love this scripture, but it pulls me back to a story that I love, which is a little kid giving the fish and the bread,
feeding the 5,000.
If that little, what happened if that kid would have been well, it's only a little bit, God. It's only a little bit, Jesus, so I'm not going to give it to you. I'm just going to eat it.
Yeah.
But instead, he said, here, I have this. And what did he do? He multiplied it to where they left with some.
Exactly.
It's extra.
Man,
when you leave, I see that story as when you give God just a little bit of your time, just a little bit of the gift that He gave you, if you give Him just a little bit of your marriage that He blessed you with, if you give Him a little bit of that parenting that God trusted you with, if you can give Him just a tiny bit, He can bless it with much. He can do so much more than you can do.
Yeah.
I love the fact that when I give my tithe to God, I see it double, triple, quadruple. Why? Because I trusted it in Him. I laid it at His feet. I said, God, I don't have much, but the much I do have, I'm going to give to you.
Yeah.
I always say this: if I don't have finances to give, I give my time. And when I give my time, when I give that time to somebody, yeah, it might be 2, 3, 4 hours, but in return, I get triple of that back. So I get more time with my wife. I get more time with my daughter. I get more time to spend with my close friends. I noticed that my time is even easier. I get to do things faster. Why? Because I was able to give my time to somebody that needed it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's you do those little things. It doesn't have to be money, but it can be your time.
No, you're
It doesn't
absolutely
have
right.
to be your time. It can be. I got too many shoes, so I'm gonna give a pair to somebody that I know needs a pair. It's that little mindset of if you're able to just give a little bit of something that you have
Yeah.
to somebody else, it's gonna come back even better
Yeah.
and greater in return.
It's just a small sacrifice.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sacrifice, even if it means a little bit. You just got to take that extra step in whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
One thing I was reading out of Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, all the way down to last one is verse 30. But it's about a master who puts his trust into 3 servants, and what he does, he gives each servant a certain amount of money, and he gives the first one 5 gold coins. He gives or talents, and then he gives the second one 3 talents, and 2 talents, and then the last one he gives 1 talent. So 5, 2, and 1.
5, 2, and 1.
And so he goes, and they come back, and then when they come back, the master ends up asking like, all right, what have you done with the 5 bags of gold?
I gave you.
That I gave you, yeah. And he says, you've entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See that I've gained 5 more. And the master responds with, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things.
Yep.
Come and share your master's happiness.
Yep.
Does the same thing again with the servant of 2 bags of gold. He said, you give me 2 bags of gold, and I have gained 2 more. So you doubled it. The master said, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in a few things. Once again, I will put you in charge of many things. And come, and he says, come and show your master's happiness. And the last one, he asked the last one, right? He said, Master, this is the one with 1.
Yeah.
He said, Master, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. He gives him the 1 bag of gold. Master replies, you wicked, lazy servant, you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well, then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and take it to one who has 10 bags, right? The one who doubled it from 5 to 5. And for whoever will be given more, they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. That's crazy right there. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where he will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. First off, it's scary. Think about the consequences that we have, especially that we know God, Nemo. Of where we are not being faithful with what he's given us. It says right here, and this is for a person who knows, this guy knew about his master and what he likes and whatnot, and yet he still decided to hide it. We know about God, man. We're going to be judged more harshly because we have a relationship with the Father. So I want to make sure that he doesn't tell me, he's not calling me a wicked, lazy servant or anything. I want to make sure that I'm called a good and faithful servant in the small things so that he can give me more opportunity, right? And then he said, for those who have he said he would take from those even if you don't have any, so that I would rather have a lot and have God bless me and favor me over me, my family, and my future generations to come, man.
You know how many times in life I've been that guy where because I only have a little bit, I'll keep it all. Yeah, I've done that so many times to the point where it's been to the point where I'm like, where's it gone? But I've been saving it. I've been holding on to it.
Yeah.
How many times in life God only gave me playing drums, so I'm just going to stick to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so much more.
Is that your only ministry?
Yeah, really? That's the only thing I do.
That's the only thing you're good for?
Yeah. And then I think that's why now I'm more so like, I want to get out of that because I know there's more in me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to do more because there's more in me than just that guy that 10 years ago was placed on drums. I've been stuck so many times in a place where I'll be honest in my finances where I've only had a little bit, so I've just kept it. I've held on to it. Well, I only got paid $300, $400. If I give, just $40 right there, I'm gonna be left with $390.
Yeah.
My bill's already $350, so now I'm gonna be left with $30. So I start to say, you know what? I'm not gonna give at all. God knows my heart. How many times I've used that excuse that God knows my heart, and that God said, "Yeah, I know your heart. That's why I'm only giving you $400 a week, boy." You know what I'm saying? And that's where that's
true.
I get so I get
passionate. God knows my heart is a crutch.
I hate that
sometimes.
I hate that. Now I don't try to do that.
Not all the time, but
not try. Now I don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh well, God knows my heart, so I'm not gonna. What? God knows my heart, so I'm not going to church. I will slap you. Don't you ever say that again. God knows your heart. That's why you need to be in church. Exactly. God knows your heart. That's why you need to stop doing what you're doing. Stop fornicating with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's why you need to stop. If not, a baby going to come, and then you're going to be really broken. And you're going to be wondering why you out in the street, why you can't do this, do that, do this, that, and the third. Why? Because your boy, you was using that excuse of God knows your heart. Yeah, you're a horny little man. That's why. You need to be in church, not going on a date by yourself with your girl.
It's your boundaries.
You know, sorry, I'm getting passionate.
Conversation.
I get passionate about it. It's like, don't use an excuse to why you can't do much with the little that he has given you.
Exactly.
If he gave you the
don't
little,
be afraid, like the third
double
service.
the little like he said, double the little that he's given you.
From 5 to 10,
I went from one service, playing only one service a week, to playing 4 to 5 a Sunday. Only one on a Sunday. I remember I was only playing one service on Sundays. Then I went to 2. Then I went to 3. Then I went to 4. Then I went to 5 at one point. Cause I can use what God has given me.
Yeah.
And I can quadruple that. I can go play for other churches. I can go help. Man, we had a Spanish, English, and bilingual. I started playing all 3 of those.
Yeah.
Why? Because God didn't just give me the drums to play just for the English service.
Yeah.
He gave it to me to play also for the Spanish and the bilingual.
Yeah.
And there's a friend of mine they don't have a drummer right now, so I'm gonna go play 2. And that's what I started to do.
Yeah.
And then I started noticing God started blessing me financially. I started feeling spiritually even stronger because I was doing more than just playing drums at our 11 o'clock service.
Yeah.
I was playing at the 8:45, the 11, the 6, and then between the 11 and the 6, I was playing at 3 o'clock at another friend's church.
Yeah.
And then God started to open my eyes. He started to give me the more gift of not being afraid to talk to people. That's when I started speaking to youth.
Yeah.
Next, in the future, years later in the future, my wife and I now become youth leaders at our previous church. Why? Because I didn't let just me playing drums be the only thing that I was doing.
Yeah.
I started to do more.
You didn't let that define you.
No.
And that's not your ultimate
It's
goal.
a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freaking love playing drums, bro. I love it. But I know there's more in me. And that's why I'm doing more. So, yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That brings me because you were talking about being prepared, right?
Yeah.
So I want to read something real quick. And there's a couple of different things that are requirements, what I was telling you about. Requirements it says qualifications for an overseer. Essentially a shepherd, somebody in training, somebody who's guiding, somebody who's shepherding people.
Yeah.
A deacon, and you can find a couple of different examples, like in 1 Timothy, in chapter 3, Titus, chapter 1, 5 through 9. And so I want to read this real quick. And this is real simple. And it's almost like God's giving us a checklist. Hey, this is what I want you to get, so that when you are responsible for the things that I give you, if you're obedient with this right here, this stuff will be easier.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to accomplish it a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about or stress out too much, because this allows you to be more obedient to me, so that when I give you, I can give more and more and more. So I want to read this real quick. Out of 1 Timothy chapter 3, it says, the saying is trustworthy. If anyone aspires to the office of an overseer, he desires a noble task. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not a drunkard, not violent, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. He must manage his own household well, with all dignity, keeping his children submissive. For if someone does not know how to manage his own household, how will he care for God's church?
Wow.
Super. That's a great question, right? He must not be a recent convert, or he may become puffed up with conceit and fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must be well thought of by outsiders. So he must be well thought of by outsiders, good perception, right? So that he may not fall into disgrace, into a snare of the devil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is prime example of what God's called us to be. And granted, this is for overseers, deacons, shepherds, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, man, especially being the man of my house, man, this is what I'm called to do so that God could then bless and show favor upon my family. And I want him to give me more. I want to be able to take more responsibility. So I'm going to look to this as like a checklist, not so much like I got to check these things down and it's like I'm obligated to do so. But in a sense where initially it might have been like that, but it turns into something where like it's almost muscle memory, and I do it because I love Jesus and not because he told me to do so. I love him, so I'm gonna follow this right here
because I love what God has given me, because I love God himself. And in that case, then I have to honor him in everything that I do. Exactly. I have to honor him with everything, like the topic at hand. I have to honor him with the little. I have to honor him with the much. I have to honor him even when I'm in between. When I don't know if I have anything to eat, I have to still honor you, God.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, when I honor you, everything else will fall into place. Yeah. When I trust in you, everything will fall back into place. And right now in my life, I'm at that stage of, God, thank you for giving me this little. Because to others, it looks like a lot. But because what I've been through in the last, 10 years in ministry, I'm able to see that this is only just a little bit of what God has for me. I know that this isn't just the end goal. Yeah. Oh. I know that what I'm doing now is not the end goal. I know what God is prepping me for at the end. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to share it, but like, I know at the end of the day, what God has for me is not where I'm at now. Yeah. He's just prepping me for the future. Yep. So you have to honor him, protect, and use wisely the little that he's given you now. So when the much comes, he can keep giving you more and more and more. Exactly. And more. And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about in the spiritual realm, in a mental health strength, in a spiritual strength,
even physical strength.
Physical strength. God's like, I'm gonna give you more.
Open doors.
I'm gonna open more doors that you
more opportunity.
You're gonna have too many doors to open, so you're gonna have to get a little stronger, get a little wiser, because the doors that I'm opening for you are stronger, are better, are greater. Like God's like, hey, I'm only, like I always say, God doesn't move in levels; He moves in dimensions. Yeah. You know, like you said, there's levels within a dimension. I want to reach the top of that level so I can reach the next dimension. Yeah. I want to be able to say you have moved on to this next thing. You know,
you're on to the next stage.
So I'm cool. I'm grateful for the little I have now, the little that God is using in me, the little that I'm doing. I'm super grateful for it. But I'm doing it because I want to honor Him. I want to protect what He gave me, and I want to multiply what He gave me. Yeah. So that way, when He gives me more, I can do the same exact thing I did when I had this little. Yeah. It's the same thing.
On a bigger scale. Though.
Only being a little wiser. Yeah. That's about it. You're a little wiser every step. Because, man, so many times in life, I've guarded myself for the little that I had because I didn't want to take advantage of it. Yeah. And God's like,
and that could be a dangerous thing. Yeah. Well, that was this guy. He was scared. Yeah. So what did he do? He hid it in the ground. Hid it. And he brought it back to the master. And it was taken from him. Oh. So, it was taken from him. And so, like, I kind of want to talk about what you just said right now. Like what are some pros and cons, man? Actually, a lot of cons with not being present right now and viewing. So like, this is what I do. I like to self-evaluate, and I'm always looking to learn, always looking to grow. And there's a lot of stuff that I messed up with. You know, a lot of stuff that I can always be doing better. And one of those things is being present right here in the moment. You know, and that's the little stuff. And so, and I'm probably like you, Nemo. I'm a visionary, bro. I could see things, plan things out in the future, 6 months, a year from now, you know, when it comes to things that we want to do in ministry, even at work or even with my family. But because of the foresight out into the future, I'm forgetting some stuff right here, you know? So I'm like, dang. So like, there's nothing wrong with being a visionary. There's nothing wrong with being futuristic and looking to those goals, those long-term goals. But those long-term goals are only reached by building blocks. The first square, the second square. So you just keep building from there. So we have to be present at where we're at right now in everything that we're involved with. You know.
The moment I started living in the moment is the moment that I was able to grow from the moment. Yeah. Like, as soon as I was able to live in that moment, stop worrying about taking pictures for everything. Stop worrying about capturing a video for everything. When I learned to just put my phone away or put my camera in my
Yeah.
backpack and just live in that moment, I was able to now exceed that moment.
Yeah.
And so many times we get stuck in the moment
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
because we want to capture everything, and then you figure out, oh, I missed half of it.
Yeah.
When we went to go see James Wilson
You
and
missed the
Draylon,
learning part.
when we went to go see Draylon and James, I recorded maybe for maybe 2 minutes out of the whole time I was there. Rest of my phone's in my pocket. I wanted to be in that moment.
I did the same thing too. Yeah.
It was a God moment.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
God was doing something
Yeah.
there. So I wanted to live in that moment. So I put my phone away. I had nudged at Ashley. I was like, put your phone away.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you're right. We got to worship, you know? Because you know what? Because this is going to fuel me. So when we go play, now I'm able to give from that moment that I was in.
That you were living in.
Yeah, because
you
I
were
was
focused.
getting fueled.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to live in the moment so you can get fueled up. So
Yeah.
that way you can so you can do the same exact thing for someone else. Have that moment for somebody else.
Exactly.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I was able to have that moment. I was able to live in that moment. So now, maybe someone that I know, a friend of mine, can have that same exact moment because I was able to capture everything in that moment. Not capture it, but capture it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. That's man, you brought up a great point, man, is pouring out into somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
Think about this right here. If I would have never been given an opportunity to play the drums because of somebody witnessing the small that I believe was big, I would have never been at this point right here. You know? So
Music and tech director.
Exactly. So how many people out there are just overlooked? Like, we're always looking for you. But man, the people that are placed right in front of us, man, our kids, the people under our ministry, people who have a heart for God, people who are on fire, you know, we have to be able to give them an outlet, give them some place in some way, a gift, or, you know, sacrificing our time so that they can grow. You know, I don't want to miss those opportunities. I want to be right there present in the moment you were talking about and see those opportunities. I love what Matthew was preaching about, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. Pastor Matt from Northeast Assembly of God Church. Love you, Matty. He talked about God opportunities, man. And I love opportunities, and I don't like to miss opportunities. And sometimes I do miss the mark. But, man, when I see these God opportunities where people in front of me, there's opportunities for them to be able to grow in their relationship with God. And I want to do my best to be able to help, almost like water, and plant that seed in them, you know? Yeah. So, but we can't be missing out those opportunities to allow other people's little stuff to be belittled, like you talked about.
Sometimes you got to let it go to grow.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to let go of everything. Sometimes it's this right here. You just got to let go of this.
Yeah.
Sometimes let go of this.
Let go of the world.
So this can grow.
Yeah.
So many times I've missed the mark because this was in my way.
Yeah.
This is in my way so much that little opportunity that I had to capture something, I missed the mark because I was so worried about this little thing.
Yeah.
When this little thing here needed to grow.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to miss the moment no more.
Exactly.
I'm not going to belittle the little that God has given me. If anything, I'm going to cherish it, and I'm going to do my very best to grow it because I want more.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want more.
Yeah.
My family wants more. My family deserves more. If they deserve more, that means I got to prep myself.
You have to.
I got to let it, you know?
Yeah.
So we about to preach, bro. We done stole preacher's hours. Preacher's hour. I love y'all. See, that's why I was when I started watching y'all stuff, man. Start watching it too. When I start getting in the word.
Bro, that's anybody who's in the word, man. And that stuff is contagious and it's encouraging. You know, just being in the word of God, seeing other people on fire. That's all I want to do is to better myself in that aspect, spiritually, my relationship with God, man. So. We don't have too much time though.
Yeah, we gotta go.
I feel like we could talk a lot about this conversation right here.
We gotta go. We'll have a part 2, but I feel like this was just something that was on my heart, and I just felt like we needed to talk about it.
Thanks for sharing the
because topic. I feel like, man, so much in life right now, so much of us, man, are just, we forget that God gave us this little, but he wants to give us more. Mm-hmm. He's only going to test us with a little first. Yeah. He can't give you the mansion if you can't take care of the apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't give you the manager position if you can't even be a sales associate. Yeah. You expect to be a manager when you're managing people, but you can't talk to people as a sales associate. Yeah. He ain't going to let you be a manager. So, you know, that's just the way I feel. I think in life now, we just, don't miss the little that God has given you. Yeah. Don't belittle it. It's a little. It's all right. Oh, I'll miss a Sunday here. Oh, I might not read my word here. But you know what? I'm not gonna play here because I'm tired.
Yeah.
You missed your mark.
Missed it.
You missed the mark to
When you
leave a
feel like
mark.
when you feel like that, it's probably because you should be doing that.
That's why I always feel. The moment I don't feel like doing it
When
is the
the-
moment I need to do
Yeah,
it.
when there's a doubt, oh shoot, I need to be there.
Yep.
I need to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, so
So
that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to say, like, anybody who feels like they're not capable
Yeah.
of doing more, hey, maybe you feel like that because you haven't been responsible with the little. And so just be responsible with the little that God's given you, and you'll see that, man, He will bless you abundantly in things that you felt like you've never would have been placed in a
yeah.
on that dimension,
Yeah.
on that level. I mean, God wants to give you more. Everybody, I don't care who you are, everyone is capable of doing more. I don't like excuses. Like, you are capable of doing more. You can do way better, and God wants to give you that. But first, be present, be obedient, and let Him do what you can with little. 100%.
Do 100%. So yeah, I think that's a good stop right here. We'll stop it right here. Right?
Heck yeah.
So thank you guys for watching. Aaron, once again, I'm gonna say it all the time. We miss you,
Oh,
brother. I know he's God. See, he trusted God a little. That's why he's doing the big thing right now. You know, that's why he's out here. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys, please pray, man. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Hey, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, leave us a rate. Leave us, I think you get the rate of 5 stars. Go ahead and leave us a rate. 5 stars would be great because I know most of you are listening. Thank you guys once again for watching. My name is Nemo, and this is
my name is Joey.
and we'll see you guys later.
Later, guys.